could you just give me a little introduction into Me, Myself, Menopause?
So over the last couple of years, Me, Myself, Menopause has, I guess, evolved, hasn't it, into a CIC.
Yeah, we thought it was the right path to take. We started as quite a small sort of community-based group sort of thing, not so many members, and then obviously we just evolved from there, didn't we? And we considered the option of changing to a charity, didn't we?
Yeah.
Decided that wasn't the correct path for us, and we just kind of went down the community interest company route for several reasons, really. And it's just taken off from there, hasn't it, really?
Yeah, and I think from starting in May 2024 and having, how many people did we have? Like five people that sat down.
The first one, yeah.
And then all of a sudden now, it's a growing community, and it's essentially being born out of advocating for individuals going through menopause.
Very much so, yeah. And having someone there and a space to listen to people when they are facing these challenges, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Amy, we'll start with you. Could you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
So I am a wife, I'm a mum to 3, and I'm in my late 30s. So yeah, essentially I was 35. I had a diagnosis of stage 5 endometriosis. I'd been to my GP numerous times and essentially been told that there was nothing wrong. And then to essentially find out that I did have this diagnosis of stage 5 endometriosis. So there was multiple appointments, as you can imagine. And I was then advised later on down the line that having a full hysterectomy would be the best option for me. Yeah, essentially when I then went forward and had a full hysterectomy, and I came out of the operation and I thought everything would be absolutely great. However, I literally felt like I'd just fallen off a cliff, emotionally, psychologically, physically. I always thought that mental health wise, I was super robust in the fact that I spent kind of 17 years working in psychology with a team of psychologists. However, nobody prepped me for that falling off a cliff feeling.
Yeah.
I then navigated, I would say, probably a good couple of years of trying to put estrogen back into my body and also trying to kind of get the testosterone right in my body. And it was just horrific. I felt as though NHS GP wise was not supportive. I had to go and pay an obscene amount of money in order to get what was rightfully mine in terms of putting the hormone back in my body. And it was rough. It was rough above imaginable words. However, the light at the end of the tunnel for me came when I'd essentially found that having transdermal HRT, your gels, your patches, your sprays, was not absorbed by my body. So I then went on and had an implant, and I now have a HRT implant that I pay for. Essentially, it was not in my postcode, so I did not get that on the NHS. So I now have a implant, and it's good. On the whole, I probably get 80% out of the year. There's, a good few months as I start to decline and the brain fog and everything all kind of kicks in. But yeah, on the whole, it does seem as though there is kind of more light at the end of the tunnel now. But in terms of surgical menopause, it will be something that I'm in forever. There's no end point with that. Yeah. So, I guess it's just navigating, the challenges.
Becky, same question to you.
Yes, so very different path to yourself, obviously, Amy. I didn't know what was going on, to be perfectly honest. I thought I was sort of early onset dementia. I couldn't remember appointments. I couldn't remember any of my work, schedules and things like that. I had really bad vertigo. So I went to the doctors and they thought that I had anxiety and potentially depression. I kind of knew myself that I didn't at the time, but I just went with it. the menopause word. The M word was never even spoken about at that point. In fact, the GP actually Googled it in front of me, Googled menopause in front of me, and that was just eye-opening for me, to say the least, like what the level of support is within the NHS in some areas. So I went on to sertraline for a little while. I think that's quite common. And it didn't help me whatsoever, because it wasn't anxiety that I was having an issue with, or those kind of things. So and I also went on to beta blockers as well, because I was having lots and lots of heart palpitations and irregular heartbeats and those kind of things, which were really frightening. I felt like I was having a heart attack sometimes. So that was that. That was sort of the first couple of appointments. We were going down those kind of paths. My symptoms weren't improving at all. This time I was 39, 40-ish, just coming probably up to my 40th birthday. And yeah, that menopause word was never even mentioned. So at the same time this was happening, obviously, working mom, 2 children, job, felt like I was literally losing my marbles. And nothing was helping. And then that went on for a few years. And then when I went back just before my 45th birthday, all of a sudden, they start talking about menopause. Perhaps it's menopause. So they tried me on a trial of HRT patches, which made an almost instant improvement. Within the first sort of month or so, I would say I saw a significant improvement in my symptoms. So kind of made sense then. Things started clicking. I knew I wasn't, seriously ill. I knew it was just a normal stage of life, Again, like you said, I didn't know anything about menopause. We'd never learnt about it in school. I don't know my biological mum, but, it'd never been spoken about growing up through childhood. People don't talk about it. So it was a real shock. And looking back now, it was definitely before I was 40 that I hit that early stages of perimenopause, I would suggest. But similar to lots of other people, I tried lots of different types of patches, different makes and brands and levels before I got the balance right. And I think I'm there now. Fingers crossed. So yeah, I'm on a patch and a progesterone pill, a 75ml patch, and a progesterone pill 12 days a month. And hopefully things are definitely on the up. So yeah, that's where we're at.
This one's to the both of you.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you decide to create Triple M?
I think essentially we were going through our very different journeys at a very similar time.
I remember having that conversation when we was in the playground.
Yeah.
And you said, what did you say? You said something like, I've been following your surgical menopause story, because at the time my Instagram profile was surgical_menopause.
Yeah.
And you've been following that, and you said, are you taking them patches? Can you remember that?
Yeah, I'm sure it was me. I was there. I do remember talking to you in the playground, and I think it was just born from that. And
it was.
The fact that you were struggling, super struggling, majorly. And I didn't have a clue what was going on.
I think at the time I had this like black fog, and I knew I was there.
Yeah.
And I knew that there were people around, but actually I wasn't present.
Yeah, I remember that sensation, almost like you're floating above, like watching your life from outside as an outsider.
Absolutely.
I remember that.
And we spoke probably for a good year. It didn't happen straight away, did it?
No.
Because I think we were both in a situation where we were like, we need to get ourselves sorted. We need that stability. We need to feel like as though there's a foundation there.
And also I think you can't help other people unless you're in a good place yourself. We wouldn't have been any use at that point to anyone.
No.
So I think we just kept having those conversations, didn't we, in the playground, or if we went out for a drink or whatever. And that's sort of where it grew from, wasn't it? Realising that there wasn't much in our area, support-wise, that we could reach into.
And I think as well, before we kind of went forward and said, okay, it's going to be me, myself, menopause, we also had conversations around, I can remember me specifically saying that I felt as though I had nobody around me. All of my friends at the time were mid-30s, still having babies or thinking about having babies. And for me, I was like, I just feel like no one gets it. And again, I guess that is the ability of some individuals feeling comfortable to be able to say, I'm having a really harsh time, and I think that I'm going through a menopause, or I think this is the start of.
Yeah.
And I think you and I just really clicked and was like,
something needs to happen.
Yeah.
I think
Open
it's
heart.
similar. Like you were younger than me, like you're saying, a lot of your peer group weren't at the same stage as you. But equally, my peer group is, but no one was talking about it. Like no one was talking about it. Or at the gym, no one was talking about it. I'm like, is this a secret club that only I'm a member of? And it was a bit like, what's going on? You know, like, but there must be something. I think we both looked, realised there was nothing. Obviously, my experiences through the NHS appointments and things like that, just a real lack of understanding, emotional, like that emotional support. Anyway, we always say we are not medically trained.
No.
We've got our coaching, you know, menopause coaching certificates and all that kind of stuff. But medically, we can't offer people support. But emotionally, that's where we were really struggling. Because by that point, we'd almost accepted it was menopause, perimenopause for me. And we'd sort of gone down the HRT route, both of us, on our different paths. But it was the other stuff that was still lacking. And I think that's why we decided we really had to do something.
Absolutely. I can remember sitting with my consultant and saying, okay, this is happening. This is what I'm going through. This is what I'm experiencing physically, emotionally, everything. Where can I go? Where can I get all the information? And I can remember her just handing me this one kind of like A5 piece of paper and going, oh, there's some online forums. But actually the online forums were no use, no ornament. Really.
No, it didn't. They don't feel very community orientated, do they? And I think that's why we decided we wanted, in the initial stages, we wanted to do something really local, didn't we? To support our peers within the community. So, yeah, that's sort of where it came from, wasn't it? And we just started really sort of low key, didn't we, to begin with?
Yeah.
Invited our friends and people that we knew.
When we were using the village hall, and we did literally just have those on like the little sofa, and we had like 5 people come.
But that was a really powerful session. I remember there was tears from a few people. It was almost like a bit of a relief that someone's listening. Like, I'm from an all-male household. Obviously, the understanding now within my household, my boys have grown, and Lloyd, husband, is obviously a lot more understanding. But at the time, I think he was probably a little bit lost as well, of what to say and what to do, and, you know, that awkwardness around the subject a little bit, perhaps, because I know we were only 8 years on, but I feel like there's been such huge leaps between then and now. Across the board. I mean, I don't know if it's just because it's the circles that I'm moving in now, but I just feel like people are just open to talk about it a lot more. I hope.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
on the topic of people, could you go a bit more into detail on who Triple M is for?
Yeah. So we've got such a mix, haven't we, in our community? And I think that is the beauty of it as well. So we've got people who just aren't really sure like I was in the very early stages. We've definitely got people like that within our community, haven't we? Up to people who definitely are, or even post. We've got post-menopausal ladies that come, haven't we?
And I think me, myself, menopause is across the whole wide spectrum of menopause.
100%.
You know, when we look at menopause, you have early, surgical, peri-menopause, post-menopause. Everybody's welcome. You know, it's an absolute no judgment zone. It is, you know, a safe zone. I'd like to think that we've created that safe space for any individual to come and gain that support. And, you know, as you've just pointed out, we do have such a wide variety of individuals that come. And it may well be that as we progress, individuals who have a sister or who have a mum or an auntie, you know, it doesn't have to just be themselves. It can be to support other people. Yeah,
I think it's just having that safe space for people to come, and it's like the Fight Club thing, and what happens in group stays in group. It's like we're not going to go and say, oh, you're never going to guess what such and such said, because that just is never going to happen in our group. You know, it's a really safe space for individuals to come and open up and be what they can't be anywhere else, perhaps. You know, they can't be a certain way and show their vulnerability at work or at home or wherever else they go in the community. So it's having that space for them, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And for these people, are there any events that they can come to, or how is the best way for them to get involved in Triple M?
So the way we've evolved with the CIC is we've actually now predominantly gone online as to an online community, which makes our reach greater, doesn't it? So there's definitely obviously the online community that people can join at the moment. And then we've got events throughout the year that are face-to-face, haven't we?
Yeah, so we have got our Miles for Menopause walk in April.
Mm-hmm.
We have our Menopause Roadshow in May, where we will have a variety of professionals to be able to support whoever needs that individualised and I guess more personalised support.
That's right, it's tailored to what you want, isn't it? That one a little bit more.
We also have our Summer Solstice Swim. Summer Solstice Swim of 2025 was incredible.
Yeah,
it was
such a lovely,
really
beautiful
powerful
experience, wasn't it?
And we also have a workshop in October.
Yeah, so we have our autumn workshop, don't we?
Yeah.
But yeah, all the details can be found on our website, can't they? So
www.memyselfmenopause.cic.co.uk.
Had to get that one in there.
I was going to ask you to say that if not.
And that's all we've got planned for this year, isn't it, so far? But we have got lots of things in the pipeline as well, haven't we, for potentially later in the year, once we get the community fully set up and where we want it to be.
And our online community is a work in progress as well.
Oh, 100%,
we're new to this as well. We want feedback. We'd love our online community to spark conversation, to perhaps put a header out there of my challenge is, and then for everyone else to look at supporting those individuals that are reaching out. You know, that is so important.
Because we haven't experienced everything between us, but someone in our community, whatever a person brings to the table as a challenge, someone in the community may well have had that experience, you know, and conquered it, or still be going through that challenge or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So definitely.
Absolutely.
We want those conversations, don't we, on there?
Yeah, 100%.
And from those conversations, what are the main pain points?
So I guess we have a variety of different sort of pain points, don't we, currently? There's certain ones for our company, so for the CIC itself, such as funding applications and things like that, which are going ahead, but also there are the challenges within the group, aren't they, of getting people to come join the community, then to get the conversations going within the community and keep that conversation going. So that's probably a couple that I can think of. Can you think of any of our sort of biggest challenges?
I think the challenge or exactly that. I think in order for Me and Myself Menopause to be sustainable, we are working incredibly hard to fundraise, to, you know, as you say, kind of put those funding applications in, and almost to gain that trust from individuals to know that we are living the experiences, we are in progress, and, you know, we are equally trying to support other individuals as well. Because, you know, as we have said so many times, nobody should have to feel alone, feel isolated. And that's one thing I think both myself and you, Becky, are very passionate about, is nobody feeling isolated or feeling as though they have got nowhere to turn, because only you and I can remember only so well, you know, going back 4 or 5 years, what that feels like.
100%. And I think we can't do it alone. So we have to have people to come and join us and carry those conversations on with us. Share our posts, you know, like our posts, whatever it is, you know, just to really get that buzz going around what we're doing, because we are here to support. But without everyone else, we just can't, it's not sustainable.
I think as well, like for individuals to join the community, bring your personality,
100%.
bring your whole self, because we will meet whoever joins the community as they are. If it is someone feeling vulnerable, if it's someone feeling as though actually they want to show a little bit of their personality with humour, if that's your best way of your coping mechanism, that is okay.
That's me, so you're trying to tell me.
But that is okay. You know,
Yeah.
like we are very different, but
Yeah.
we still share ourselves.
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
that is okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Sorry, we kind of went on a tangent there.
Yeah. And lastly, I think a lot of people would want to know, what are the next steps and what are your next set of goals for Triple M?
Well, the sky's the limit for us, isn't it, really?
And breathe. I would love to branch out more into the corporate setting. I think to bring awareness into the workplace, I'd love to go into education. I think, you know, we have had various different conversations before around educating puberty, sex education in primary schools. It doesn't just end there. And I think to bring the M word into that educational space is where it will start, it's where it will begin. Whereas at the minute, we're kind of looking at that corporate, you know, environment and going in with education there when actually it should be right at the very beginning.
100%. Yeah, no, I completely agree. Like you say, a lot of that stuff's hard hitting when you're younger. You know, when you're talking about sex education, all these things. There's nothing to say you can't start having those conversations about menopause right there. You know, there's nothing to stop that, I don't think. So I think that's a cracking idea. And also retreats. We want to get into retreats eventually, potentially, don't we? It's something that we're looking at a little bit longer term, possibly.
Yeah. And I think to focus more on an individual who is experiencing their menopause symptoms, to be able to create an environment, a retreat that essentially is for their own lifestyle and well-being. You know, we talk a lot about lifestyle. Menopause isn't just going and sticking a HRT patch on or going to, you know, get those supplements if that's the kind of angle you want to go. It's about the whole lifestyle. And I think, you know, kind of doing those retreats is going to then support the lifestyle. Yeah,
like the well-being, the mindfulness, you know, nutrition. It's a full package, really. You've got to, and it's creating a new version of you as well, isn't it? And whatever that looks like moving forward, you know, it's going to happen. So, you know, we've got to embrace it and do what we can, haven't we, to get through it.
But I think as for the community, I think we are taking amazing steps forward. We've created an online platform, which is, when we look at our feedback that we've had, it was an ask. It was something that was wanted. So we've created it, and I guess we just majorly invite anybody to come join us.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Hopefully that will happen. You know, we just got to keep going and we'll get there. Thank you for watching. If you or someone that you know is facing challenges around menopause, please do get in touch with us.
www.memyselfmenopauseCIC.co.uk. You can also find us on Instagram and Facebook at memyselfmenopause.
And you can also find us on YouTube and TikTok.